All right, so here is the update on my habit tracking. And I'll talk about this a little bit later, but I've actually decided to change things up just a little bit. Like not a lot, but just a little bit. So what I'm gonna do right now is review most of what I had for July, but then you'll see I kind of stopped here at the end. So I'll talk about that here in a second. So if you go back to my last video, the one for June and then July, well, if you go back to all of my previous videos, so I really started this early this year, and at the beginning I had really worked hard to get these first few habits on track, and so far I have pretty well been able to do that. So I'm waking up early fairly consistently, walking every single day. I've started adding this in again, like I've been doing this off and on, but I actually finally put it like as a habit is studying 30 minutes at least while I'm walking on the treadmill. So that gets, and it worked really well this month. So if I commit myself to 30, because it was an hour, but I dropped it down to 30 minutes. A lot of days I end up getting at least 45 minutes or an hour of reading or some other sort of studying while I'm on the treadmill, and it just kind of helps the time walking past. And then since I'm doing this in the morning, it kind of stimulates me to either get back home and study, you know, do my homework, or by study, some of it is actually like articles or things that I'm reading for work. So it just kind of gets my brain going for the day. And some days, like throughout the month, I've noticed like it's easier to read and focus while I'm doing that, and other days it's a little bit harder. But just kind of like having it be consistent, and 30 minutes is not that hard. So on the days that it's harder, I'll do it for 30 minutes. And then whenever the 30 minutes is up, I'm like, okay, let me just get on TikTok or let me watch YouTube videos or what. But you know, I get at least 30 minutes in consistently. And then my extra workout has been going well pretty consistently. This day I didn't do the thrusters. Like those are the ones that are getting to me for some reason. A lot of days I don't want to do the thrusters whenever I get back home. So I've got another video where I show what this little like workout routine is at home. And squats I'm doing easy. Planks, I don't like them, but 1 minute is definitely doable. But the thrusters, I feel like they're the most effective thing that I'm doing, but for some reason I just don't want to get in here and do them. But I've done them, so I'm keeping it on here. Because I think I've already lowered down my workout to the point to where if I lower it anymore, it's not even going to be worth it or effective. But yeah, so I'm doing good keeping up with that. That is my, the journal and moon is my guided journal. And actually I'm so proud of myself because I finished it. I made it all the way to the end. It wasn't 365 pages, so it didn't last me through the whole year, but I finished it. And so I haven't been doing a journal for the last few days. And what I'm thinking of is I think I'm going to start back from the beginning and make a video reading my responses every day. So that's going to be like my daily journal part, is just kind of going back and reflecting on what I wrote on previous days on this, and then maybe sharing them. I don't know, like it may be too personal. So I don't know, maybe I'll try it and just see how I feel about it. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that in place of that, I'm going to go through and read the entries from, you know, earlier in the year and just kind of reflect on what I had written. And then I was doing, I talked about this before, this moon diary. There's so many, like, I want to really love this and all of the stuff. Like this lady, she has like a whole series of things that go along with the moon and connecting with the moon, and I really want to like it and love it. I love the name Moonology. That's clever to me. She has let me see. She's got like a book. She's got a deck of like not tarot cards, but the other, what are the other things? What are they called? Oh, I've got them right here. Oracle cards. I mean, it's got this whole set, and I wish that I loved it, and I wish that I could stick to it, but I'm just not, like, something is not connecting with it for me. So I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this, and I think I found something else. So this booklet, it has, like, the useful parts in it is that it goes through the month, the moon cycles every month, and you've got a calendar. I'm not connecting with, like, what she's writing about for all of this. It's just the whole time it hasn't, but it is useful to keep up with, to flow with, like, okay, here's the full moon coming up. I never liked that part, and I wasn't sure what to fill in. Like, it has, you know, spots for every day, and I've just been struggling on, like, what to put there. But I do like that it shows, it has the symbols here for what constellation the moons are in, or for every day. And I think that's kind of neat because I just don't know that much about astrology. And so I felt like it was good for me learning some of the basics, but I'm not connected to it. And I don't think I'm going to keep writing about it. And what I had been doing was, for all of these days in the morning, I would just kind of write a little bit about how I'm feeling that day. And then but I was just struggling on what to write, and I felt like it was getting really repetitive. I'm like, oh, I have a lot of energy and I feel good, or, oh, I'm not feeling that great today. It's a struggle, blah, blah. Like, I felt like it was getting kind of repetitive, and I don't know. So, but I'll talk a little bit about what I think I'm going to do to replace this. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to replace this yet, but I'm going to try adding in something else and see if that works a little bit better for me to put in this place. My big goal for last month was to start work by 8 every single day and to work or study a full 8 hours. And as you can see here, for most days, I don't think I got like a full 8 hours. Like, if I felt like I got 4 to 6, then I would put this half. And I need to work on increasing that, especially with the fall semester coming up. Yeah, that's my goal again. So I've got this part pretty well. I still need to work on this part. But some areas that I did make some more progress are doing my to-do list every night. And I think I circled these because I think I did like an extra, like, I planned out like 2 or 3 days ahead on those days. I don't know why I did that actually. And then I've been doing really good about prepping for bed every night. I was fasting for the first part of the month because I was doing like a 30-day alternate day fasting, but I've stopped that, and I don't think I'm going to continue it, and I don't think I'm going to do it again in the future. But I am pretty cool with 1 meal a day fasting, so intermittent fasting, and that's typically what my body likes to do. And so yeah, on these fast days where I wasn't struggling at all during the day, but it was just at night when I normally eat my big meal, I was struggling at those points. So I think I am, if I try it again consciously to fast, it would probably be a 1 meal a day and not a alternate day fast. And there's a girl I follow, and she had the opposite response. She did really good on alternate day fasting, and it was hard for her on 1 meal a day because she knew that that meal was coming up at the end of the day. And she was just like anticipating it so much, like all she could think about was that meal. And so she found it harder to do the 1 meal a day. But I think for myself, that's, if I were to fast in the future, like consciously fast, then that's what I would do. One thing I'm kind of happy about is I finally got on to tracking my calories. And I know a lot of people like say that that's bad, that like you shouldn't be tracking your calories and it can lead to like eating disorders and things like that. But it's been beneficial to me. I've been tracking them without consciously trying to limit my calories. So just tracking them just to see, just to get an idea for how many calories I'm eating. And I'm going to keep doing that. And I think it could be useful for like most people to do that no expectations of diet. I think most people, when they do calorie tracking, it's because they're on a diet. I think you should do it not being on a diet. Like, just maybe if you want to lose weight in the future, start tracking like months before you actually are ready to start losing weight. And that way you can just see, like, get an idea, what do you normally eat? And that's what I'm trying to do. So I've got like I don't know how I'm making these videos, but I'm kind of doing a series on prepping for bikini bodybuilding, but I'm not planning to actually start prepping until a few months from now. So maybe several months from now, depending on how school and work is going, but maybe a year from now, I don't know. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to build habits that will help me when I get to that point. So I don't want to start trying to meal track when it's time for me to start dieting and cutting down. What I want to do right now is to get a feel for what I'm already eating, how many calories I'm eating, how does that change throughout the course of a month, because I am becoming more and more convinced that if you're a female and you're trying to lose weight or build habits or get your life together, you've got to do it with your menstrual cycle in mind, because my energy levels change throughout the month. My eating, my hunger, levels change throughout the month. And so I think it's good to be conscious of that. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to keep tracking and just seeing without really limiting well, I say that. You'll see in the next month, like what I'm changing about that. Anyway, but I've been staying on top of that. And another thing, meal prep, it's not actually like prepping meals. It's been thinking ahead to what I'm going to eat the next day. So just kind of having an idea in mind, not necessarily like getting everything ready, because anyway, that's what that is. I did have brain fog for a few days, and I'm still figuring out my hormone cycle because I don't have a period, and a part of me like wants to get my IUD out just so I can be for sure and knowing like when my hormone cycles are. But then with all of the, Supreme Court stuff going on and everything, I'm like, I should probably not run the risk of an unwanted pregnancy happening. So it's about time to get it replaced, and I was just gonna like have it taken out, but I'm still deciding whether I'm gonna replace it or not. I would love to just like have my natural period, I think, or at least just for a couple of months, because it has been nice not having periods for the last couple of years. But I would also like to kind of know what my hormone cycle is a little bit better. But yeah, and then I had a couple days where I was anxious. I kind of use this as a catch-all, actually, like to note random things, like, because I noticed throughout the month my interest in certain things kind of like ramps up and goes down. So like these days I was like, it was hard to get myself off of like TikTok and YouTube. This day music was really, I was really wanting to listen to music more. And then, yeah, some days I'm feeling really into music and I want to listen to music. Other days I'm not. So I don't know. When something came up to me, when I noticed something specific, I had started doing that. I don't know what that smiley face is, actually. Maybe I was feeling extra happy that day. I don't know. This one I had some anxiety, but it was 100% related to work. And again, I'm tracking my showers. I think the reason I like tracking my showers is because when I used to shower every single day, there was no need to track when I showered because I was doing it every single day. But I think if I don't track it, then I'll forget which days I've showered and haven't. But anyway, that's what that is. And I've stayed pretty consistent for the most part of doing every other day. But yeah, so where I'm changing it where I decided to change it was at the beginning of the year. I think January 1st and February and March and perhaps April, I'm pretty sure all of those months started on a new moon. So because I'm trying to get more connected with the moon cycles, it was really easy to do that because the month and the new moon like corresponded with each other. And I liked it, but now the new moon is, you know, because the moon cycle is only like 28, 29, 30 days, 29 and a half, something like that. So it ends up, the new moon starts falling, you know, further and further back. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to track my habits with the new moon instead of the month and just see how it goes. And one thing I like about that is, you know, it's consistent with, you start with the new moon and then you have the first quarter moon to reflect. You have the full moon to kind of reflect, and then the third quarter moon. So, I mean, you could reflect every week, but I don't know. I kind of like doing the moon cycle stuff for now. So that's what I'm going to try next. And so this is where those other days fell in this new habit tracker that I put together on Friday. So like this kind of falls into July and August. So I marked it there. And then I've got like the different phases of the moon. So the new moon was on the 28th. And then you've got it waxing and growing to the first quarter moon and then to the full moon. And then I'll start the next one on the 27th for the next new moon. But I've got pretty much the same. I think everything's pretty much the same as last time. Except, like I said, I'm going to try to do videos of my journaling, and I think I'm going to start it tomorrow on the 1st. And yeah, just maybe post a daily video, I guess, of what I've written for my journal prompts. And then I kind of want to do it in a way where anyone who wants to maybe do some journaling themselves, I'll read the prompt and then you can do it yourself, and then maybe compare like what your response was to mine. I don't know. I haven't totally come up with that, but I guess I'll start tomorrow and just see what happens. Again, these are my two that I really want to focus on. And so tomorrow is going to be my start on that, is try to really block all of these out over the next month. Except actually I'm going on vacation from here to here. So that's going to be, I won't have that filled in, but you know, it'll be fine. For all the other days, for the other 2 weeks that I'm going to be doing it, I want to do that. I want to keep up with my to-do list, bed prep, meal tracking. The other thing that I've changed is I want to try to limit my calories a little bit, which based on what I've been tracking before, I don't think it'll be too bad, because this last week I really worked on cutting out fast food and processed food, and it seems like having that cut out makes it easy for me to not overdo my calories. So, and if anything, there was most days that I wasn't even coming close to 2,000 calories. So I think having those, you know, kind of high calorie foods just cut out of my diet, I'm still going to be able to eat a lot of food without feeling like I'm limiting myself. And so I don't think it will be that hard on most days to stay below 2,000 calories. But I'm also not going to limit myself if I want to eat. But I am going to try to be conscious of not eating fast food, not eating processed food. And on the days that I happen to come in under 2,000 calories, I will mark it just to see. I'm not sure how these two things are going to go, but I do want to just kind of, and I put a small amount of time. I figure I'll end up working more on that, kind of like this day where I have just 30 minutes of studying, and then it'll typically end up going more. So I put, you know, I just want to keep my dissertation in my mind, because this is going to be really important next year when I'm done with classes and I need to finish my dissertation. So I want to at least have myself look at it every single day for at least 10 minutes. And so I've got that on here. And then my work is this contribution of ag. And so, and I put ag news, like just keeping up with what's going on with ag in my state, because that's important to my work. And so I want to try to at least touch on it every day. Because the way my work is, it's like it switches around between projects, but we're finishing up like this last big project. And so I think the rest, once I get this big project finished up, it's just going to be like my contribution of ag work and my dissertation work. So, yeah, I want to make sure I touch on those every day. I was actually kind of running out of things that I want to track, because I'll show you why. Where I have this brain fog and anxiety and emotional here, I'm kind of like, I've got a mood tracker that I'm going to throw into the mix. So I don't know, for this is just, I'm going to mark down if I cry. And I think I'm going to do, kind of maybe try to do what I was doing on this anxiety one before. And like, if I notice things coming up, I'll just try to make some sort of symbol there to note that, and then the shower thing. So I think this will be pretty good. I need to focus on these and these, but the rest of the stuff seems to be coming along really, really well. The studying for 30 minutes every day has helped me immensely in getting through my class. Like this class this summer was a breeze. The one in the spring was so easy too, and I've never had a super easy time with classes, especially when it would come to like the end of the semester and finals and things like that. I've got a final I still need to do for my summer class, but I don't think it's going to be difficult at all. I feel really well prepared. It's been easy to get the assignments finished for the most part. So yeah, I think this, if you're a PhD student, I would say try this. Try just going to the gym, or if you have a treadmill, just walk for 1 hour and then force yourself to read something. I think it will help immensely. But yeah, so that's that. There's the habit tracker. So here's the thing. Well, another thing that I did whenever I set this up was I also set up goals to try to reach within each part of the moon cycle. And every month I have been adding some goals in. I've done something similar to this, but I feel like this is pretty good. So this is a booklet that I got with my Lunarly box. And so with every new moon, it has this section to like, it doesn't necessarily like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but basically from what I gather, at the new moon, you're just supposed to set your intentions and just think about what outcome you want to have during the moon cycle. Just kind of, I don't know if it's like a law of attraction sort of thing, or you're like putting it out there. But basically what I have here for this moon is the house is organized and ready to renovate. I'm on track with my habits and expanding my online community. All my stress and anxiety are gone, which from the beginning of the year, my stress and anxiety, especially from the end of last year, it's reduced a whole lot already. So I'm finished with my supply chain class. I'm ready to do all my fall classes. This big paper I've been working on has been submitted, and I've begun work on this second paper I have to do. I have my topic and plan for my dissertation, and I'm ready to begin work on my concept paper, which I'm hoping to get that concept paper done by the end of the fall semester. So I've just kind of like thought about, you know, by the end of this moon cycle or month, you know, where do I want to be at the end of the month? And so I started with this, just kind of thinking like what I want to do, where do I want to be? And then from here, I put together kind of some goals for the moon cycle. And so these were the goals that I put together. So I want to finish my class with an A. I want to finish my draft of the paper, submit it, decide on my dissertation topic. I've been meaning for months to go through my closet, go through all my old clothes that I don't wear, and just get rid of all the stuff I know I'm not going to wear, just kind of organize that. I'm trying to like really reorganize. I'm living in a house that I inherited from my grandmother or my grandparents, and I still have some of their stuff that I'm not ready to get rid of, but I want to just kind of go through everything and get it all organized. And I've been slowly remodeling the house, so I've got 2 rooms for the most part kind of remodeled. Not where I ultimately want it to be, but it's better than how I like the rest of the house. And so the next big step I want to do is to do the living room. And so yeah, I just want to kind of get everything organized and get everything in storage that I don't want to get rid of, and get the living room cleared out, pull up the carpet, then the less than 2,000 calories. And I put Monday through Saturday because I wanted to give myself like a cheat day sort of. So Sunday will be kind of like my day that if I go over 2,000 calories, I want it to be hopefully on Sunday. And then I want to try to post like a weekly update. I've been pretty good for the last couple of months of posting an update every week on YouTube. So I want to try to keep that up and stay consistent with that. And then, so those are like my overall goals for the month that kind of go along with, you know, feeling like this and being able to say this at the end of the month or moon cycle. I mean, I don't know if the moon, like I like the moon cycle thing, so, but it's going to be weird, like with it going across 2 months, but I'm going to try to keep up with this. And so for this, you know, rest of this, you know, from the new moon to the first quarter moon, I have some things that I want to try to get knocked off. I've already got some of them done. And so this is what I want to finish before August 4th. So that'll be next Thursday. And then I've kind of, some of the things I didn't put a date on because I don't know when I'm going to finish it. But if there was like certain dates I wanted to do things, I added dates to those. And I've just done it for the rest of the month. So the next part of the moon cycle, which is roughly a week, these are all the things I want to get done. This is going to be, I'm going to visit my sister in LA. And so I don't have anything major that I want to accomplish that day. I do want to still get my YouTube video posted on the 14th. Because I try to post every Sunday. But then I also have, you know, I'm going to be flying, so I should have some time to read. And I may be able to keep up with my workout, like my walking and everything, because she's got a gym in her apartment building. But I'm not sure. I'm not committing to keeping up with everything that week, but I want to try to stay on my habits as much as I can. But I've got a few things that I am planning to hopefully get read while I am there. And yeah, and then these will be the things I'll need to finish up the month. So these are kind of my goals and how I'm trying to stick to it. And then I've got my habits that are hopefully building on these goals will help me achieve those goals. And then, okay, I know this is getting long, but I've got one more thing. So this is what I'm kind of replacing the, you know, marking whether I have anxiety or what. And I wish that I would have maybe looked at this sooner. So I've been having a hard time describing like what I'm feeling, what my emotions are, or what my moods are. And so I found this moon cycle mood tracker, and I'm gonna try filling this in. And maybe I can, with the different colors, maybe I can like visualize how my moods change throughout the month by tracking it with the moon cycle. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's just something I'm trying. And so basically what this paper has is it has you can put 8 different moods and mark them as different colors. And then as you go through the cycle, mark the different colors as you go around. And I'm doing this a little bit different. I got this off of Etsy. I actually, this was the favorite one I found, and it was like less than $3 to get a download of it. And I'm not doing it exactly how she had it kind of like mapped out on Etsy, but I'm doing it in the way that I think makes sense to me. So I think what I'm going to do is up here, I'm going to mark the mood that I have in the morning. And then at night, like after the end of the day, or maybe the next day, I will mark, you know, what were my moods throughout that day with the different colors. And I don't know, like yesterday was kind of a hard day. So this was yesterday. And because I was having to watch some videos for my class, and they were really like heavy, like it was about like forced labor and human trafficking. And I was just really emotional yesterday, and I don't know if it was because I would have been emotional anyway, but I was like crying half the day watching some of these videos about slave labor in other countries, and then like human trafficking in the US, and like it was just like really getting to me. And so I put this blue for like gloomy or sad, and then it was also making me kind of like, I don't know, tense or nervous doesn't really describe it, but it was the closest thing that I could think of. But like there was a combination of that, and then I also had some schoolwork to do, so I kind of like put that. But then by the end of the night, I feel like I was feeling pretty good. So I don't know if relaxed or it's just I'm just trying to identify like what putting words to my moods. And I came across a thing online when I was trying, like I didn't even know like what, I got online to look at what were the different moods, and like tried to think of which ones I felt myself having pretty consistently. And it was just, it was really hard for me. But this one website was talking about the best way to try to control your moods is to identify them when you feel them and put like a name to them, so that when you feel it, it just makes it easier to like recognize that you're having this mood. And then if it's a good thing to be having that feeling, you know, if it's a bad thing to be having that feeling, like think about, okay, I'm having this feeling, how do I deal with it? And I feel like I've seen some videos on TikTok with parents talking about like gentle parenting, and I feel like that's part of what they're doing, because it seems like when their kids have tantrums, they have them slow down and, you know, try to like reflect on like what's making them feel that way. And so I never had that as a child, and so I don't know. I'm just trying to recognize like what my moods are, what my feelings are, and how they change throughout the month. And because I was having such a hard time identifying my moods, and I'm not good at just starting on a blank template, I found a couple of resources. And so this is basically what I went with when I put my moods in here. So I took this chart because it was easier for me to think of in this form. So it goes from calm to energized and unpleasant to pleasant feelings. And then within each of these quadrants, you know, you have different levels of that. If you're feeling pleasant, but then more energized, you know, it can go from cheerful to happy, or really energized. So that's why I picked the cheerful and happy, because I was feeling good and kind of energized, but not like, whoa, like super, you know, energized or whatever. So yeah, that was how I picked. Like for some reason, this unpleasant, pleasant, calm to energized made me visualize my feelings a little bit better when put this way, even though I don't necessarily think excited or lively or cheerful. Like I don't think those words specifically maybe related to what I was talking about, but based on this chart, that was how it's lined up in this chart. That's how I've been feeling, and it's been the easiest way I found so far for me to identify like what my moods are. And then I also found this. I'd actually started with this, but this is more like, I think, for depressed people. But the way they describe some of these moods made it easier for me to identify, like especially the brightly elevated mood, because some days I do feel like super energized, outgoing, active. I want to be more social. I'm a little bit impulsive, you know, like this just made me, this brightly elevated mood. I definitely identified that. And then there was this empty mood. So like whenever I said there's some days that I notice myself being into music or, you know, wanting to be on TikTok, but feeling myself getting pulled into those things, then there's other times that I feel like, and this happened some over the past week for me, where nothing was stimulating my mind. I was just bored with everything, and I couldn't find a YouTube video that would keep my interest. And that gives me a little bit of anxiety when I get that feeling of like boredom and nothing can stimulate me. And so that would be this empty mood, I think, that they talk about here. And then there's like this mixed state, or it may be like a mixed state where you feel tired but wired, like driven, like I feel like I want to do something, but I can't find anything to to occupy myself. Maybe this was actually more like what I was feeling a few days ago. But I don't like how this says this happens when depression overlaps with dark mania. And dark mania doesn't sound like a good thing to me. So I don't know, but I'm identifying it. That's how I'm feeling sometimes. So what I'm doing with this is, so like yesterday, I felt like my mood definitely related to this brightly elevated. And so even though I marked this as excited and lively, I made a note in here that I was brightly elevated. I wanted to plan. I was motivated. I wanted to organize. And so, you know, I was getting all this stuff together. Or actually the day before yesterday when I put all of this stuff together. So yeah, I'm just going to try to keep notes in these little wedges here and just see how this goes. I think this is going to go a lot better than trying to put it on my habit tracker, because I don't feel like I was really getting very far with doing that. So that's that. I also found this other wheel. Again, I'm still trying to figure out how to put a name to some of my emotions and how I feel. And I don't know, some of these sat with me, some of these didn't. So I'm just going to stick with this one for now. This one seemed to be the closest to what I could identify as some of my moods and how I feel. So I'm going to do kind of a mix of this and this over the next moon cycle and just see how my moods change. You know, some people say that like the moon affects your moods and things like that. I'm not convinced of that, but I guess we'll see. I think it's more like a hormone cycle, but I mean the female cycle goes about the same amount of time as the moon cycle, so I don't know. We'll just see how it goes, but I guess that's all I have. That's my plan for the next moon cycle, roughly the next month, and I will see how it goes and post an update in about a month.